Y'all, I am divorced. I am motherfucking divorced. Y'all don't even know how good this shit feel. Like, I feel free. I'm divorced, bitch. I told y'all, yeah. Big divorce on paper. And I'm happy about it. Man, my man got a bad bitch in real life. In real motherfucking life. And I ain't never going nowhere. We locked in. You can't compare where you can't compete, stink. Yeah, you know, him, that's me. Bye.
July 4th in America, a day when neighbors gather, fireworks light up the sky, and communities come together to celebrate freedom. In Fort Worth, Texas, the summer of 2024 brought exactly that kind of energy to one particular block party. Hundreds of people filled the streets. Music pumped through speakers, and laughter echoed to the warm night air. Among the crowd was Tasha Heyman, a woman whose presence could light up any room she entered. But what started as a night of celebration would end in unspeakable tragedy. As Tasha's phone camera captured the scene around her, the atmosphere began to shift. Reckless drivers tore through the crowded streets. Tension started to rise. The air grew thick with something no one could quite name. And then, in an instant, gunfire shattered the celebration. Tasha's live stream cut off abruptly, leaving her followers staring at blank screens, desperately trying to understand what had just happened. When the smoke cleared and the chaos subsided, Tasha Heyman was gone, killed in a hail of bullets that weren't even meant for her. Her death would expose a web of gang violence, retaliation, and a community gripped by fear. The investigation that followed would reveal that multiple shooters had coordinated an attack in the middle of a crowded celebration, and an innocent woman documenting a holiday became collateral damage. Stay tuned as we reveal everything about this case. Drop a comment and let me know what you think about this story. Welcome to our channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Like and share this video to help raise awareness and spread caution. Let's begin. Tasha grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, a city known for its cowboy heritage and tight-knit neighborhoods. From an early age, she had an eye for beauty and creativity. She wasn't content to just admire makeup artistry from afar. She studied it, practiced it, and eventually turned it into a thriving business. Her skills with a makeup brush became legendary in local circles. Whether it was a bride on her wedding day, a young woman getting ready for prom, or someone who just wanted to feel beautiful, Tasha had the gift of transformation, but her talent was only part of what made her special. Those who knew her described Tasha as warm, genuine, and full of life. She had a laugh that was infectious and a personality that drew people in. She didn't just do makeup. She made her clients feel seen, valued, and confident. In a world where so many businesses feel transactional, Tasha built relationships. Her clients became her friends, and her friends became her extended family. That 4th of July, Tasha went to the block party for the same reason hundreds of others did: to celebrate, to be part of her community, to enjoy a warm summer night with neighbors and friends. She brought her phone along, as she often did, ready to share the experience with her followers. Going live on social media was second nature to her. She loved bringing people along for the ride, showing them the real moments that made life worth living. Fort Worth lost more than a talented makeup artist that night. The community lost a friend, a businesswoman, a daughter, and a source of light. Her clients lost someone who made them feel beautiful. Her social media followers lost a genuine voice in a world full of fakeness. And her family lost a beloved member whose absence would leave a hole that could never be filled. The 4th of July block party in Fort Worth that year was everything a summer celebration should be. Hundreds of people packed the streets, transforming an ordinary neighborhood into a festival of sound, color, and movement. Music blasted from car stereos and portable speakers, creating a soundtrack of hip-hop, R&B, and party anthems that echoed off the houses lining the street. Children ran through the crowds with sparklers, their laughter mixing with adult conversation, and the occasional pop of fireworks overhead. Tasha arrived with her phone in hand, ready to document the night. Her Facebook livestream captured exactly what she was seeing. Crowds of people dancing, talking, laughing. The camera panned across faces, some she knew, some she didn't. She narrated bits of what was happening, adding her own commentary and reactions. For her followers watching from home, it was like being there themselves, experiencing the celebration through Latasha's eyes. But as the night wore on, the atmosphere began to shift in subtle ways. The crowd continued to grow, pushing past the point of comfortable. More cars arrived, and with them came a different energy. Some drivers started doing donuts in the street, tires screeching, smoke rising from burned rubber. What might have seemed like harmless showing off to some felt increasingly reckless to others. The line between celebration and chaos started to blur. Latasha's livestream captured this shift. You could hear in the background noise, the music getting louder, competing voices, the revving of engines growing more aggressive. The blocks were packed so tightly that movement became difficult. If something went wrong, there would be nowhere to go, no easy way to escape. But this was a neighborhood gathering, a place where people felt safe among familiar faces. No one was thinking about danger. No one was expecting violence. Yet beneath the surface of celebration, something dangerous was indeed taking shape. While most people were there simply to enjoy the holiday, others had arrived with different intentions. Old disputes, unresolved conflicts, and gang-related tensions had followed certain individuals to the party. In crowds this large, it's easy for predators to blend in, to move through unnoticed until the moment they choose to strike. The temperature was still warm despite the late hour. Fireworks continued to pop overhead, their bright bursts of light momentarily illuminating the sea of faces below. To an outsider, it would have looked like pure celebration, a community coming together to mark America's birthday. But for those paying closer attention, there were signs that the night was teetering on the edge of something darker. Latasha kept filming, capturing the controlled chaos around her. She had no reason to believe she was in danger. She was surrounded by people, many of whom she recognized. This was her neighborhood, her community. She had attended gatherings like this before without incident. There was no warning, no sense of impending doom. Just a woman enjoying a party, sharing it with her online friends, living her life. And then everything changed. The gunfire started suddenly, cutting through the music and laughter like a knife. Not a single shot, but multiple. Rapid succession, different weapons, different directions. People screamed. The crowd that had been dancing moments before now scrambled for cover, running in all directions, desperate to escape the bullets tearing through the air. Parents grabbed their children. People dove behind cars, pressed themselves against walls, sprinted toward any perceived safety they could find. Latasha's livestream captured the audio of those first shots before the feed abruptly ended. Her phone either fell or the connection was lost. Her followers, watching from the safety of their homes, were left staring at screens that had gone dark, trying to process what they had just heard. In the comments section, panic spread as quickly as it had on the street. People typed frantic questions. What happened? Is she okay? Someone please tell us she's safe. The gunfire didn't stop after the first volley. It continued, shot after shot, coming from multiple locations within the crowd. The shooters weren't firing blindly. They had targets, and they pursued them with terrifying determination, even as hundreds of innocent people scrambled for their lives around them. The initial hours after the shooting were critical. Detectives worked through the night, interviewing anyone who would speak with them. But progress was slow and frustrating. In communities where gang violence is a reality, there's often a code of silence that makes investigations incredibly difficult. As the investigation progressed, detectives began to piece together a troubling picture. This wasn't a random act of violence. The shooting had been planned. Multiple individuals had coordinated their arrival at the party, positioned themselves strategically, and waited for the right moment to strike. The target wasn't Latasha Heyman. She was never supposed to die that night. But in their reckless pursuit of their intended victim, the shooters had turned a crowded celebration into a killing field. The key to understanding the shooting wasn't Latasha at all. It was Marcus Martin Jr., the other man shot that night. While Latasha's death captured headlines and public sympathy, Marcus was the person the shooters actually wanted. Understanding why someone wanted Marcus dead would unlock the entire case. Detectives learned that Marcus had been involved in drug dealing. In that world, disputes over money and product are common, and they're rarely resolved through legal channels or peaceful negotiation. Marcus had apparently been part of a deal that went bad, specifics about drugs and money that left certain people feeling cheated or disrespected. In gang culture, such perceived slights demand response. Letting disrespect go unanswered is seen as weakness, and weakness invites further challenges. So a plan was hatched. Marcus would be targeted, and the 4th of July block party provided the perfect opportunity. He would be there, surrounded by crowds. The chaos and confusion would provide cover for the shooters to escape. What the planners apparently didn't consider, or didn't care about, was the innocent people who would be caught in the crossfire. As investigators connected these dots, names began to emerge. 3 individuals would ultimately be identified as responsible for the shooting: Todrick Rogers, Javon Matthews, and Darnell Foster. But not all 3 played equal roles. While Rogers and Matthews were shooters, Darnell Foster was something else entirely. He was a mastermind, the person who planned the attack and coordinated the others. Marcus had been involved in a deal that went wrong. The specifics, who owed whom, how much money was involved, what exactly happened, are the kinds of details that get lost in the shadows of illegal activity. What matters is that someone felt Marcus had crossed them. In the hierarchy of street justice, that meant Marcus had to pay a price. The decision to target Marcus wasn't spontaneous. It was calculated. Darnell Foster, who would later be identified as a mastermind behind the attack, didn't just want Marcus punished. He wanted it done in a way that sent a message. Attacking Marcus at a crowded public event accomplished multiple goals. It demonstrated that Foster and his associates could strike anywhere at any time. It showed that they weren't afraid of witnesses or consequences. And it reinforced their reputation for ruthlessness. Foster recruited others to help carry out the plan. Todrick Rogers and Javon Matthews became the other 2 pieces of this deadly puzzle. Together, these 3 men coordinated their attendance at the 4th of July block party. They positioned themselves strategically within the crowd. They waited for their moment. And when that moment came, they opened fire. Marcus was indeed hit during the attack, but he survived his injuries. In a cruel twist of fate, the intended victim lived while an innocent bystander, Latasha, died. This is the mathematics of violence in crowded spaces. Bullets don't stop after hitting their intended target. They continue traveling. They ricochet. They strike whoever happens to be in their path. When you fire a gun into a crowd of hundreds, you're not just attempting murder. You're playing Russian roulette with every person present. The fact that Latasha had no connection to Marcus, no involvement in any dispute, and no reason to be targeted makes her death even more tragic. She wasn't friends with Marcus. She probably didn't even know him. They were both simply at the same community celebration, and that coincidence cost Latasha her life. Todrick Rogers faced manslaughter charges. The distinction between murder and manslaughter matters in legal terms. Manslaughter typically involves killing without premeditation or with mitigating circumstances. In Rogers' case, prosecutors apparently determined that while he was present and involved in the shooting, his role differed from the others in ways that warranted the lesser charge. He ultimately accepted a plea deal and was convicted of manslaughter. While the specific sentence isn't detailed in the public record, manslaughter convictions carry serious prison time, typically years behind bars, though less than what a murder conviction would demand. Javon Matthews faced more serious charges for his role in the attack. As one of the shooters who coordinated with the others to carry out the plan, Matthews bore direct responsibility for the deaths and injuries that occurred. His case proceeded through the court system, and he was ultimately convicted. The exact nature of his conviction and sentence varies in public reporting, but his involvement in a coordinated shooting that killed an innocent woman ensured he would face significant prison time. But the most serious consequences were reserved for Darnell Foster, and rightfully so. Foster wasn't just one of the shooters. He was the architect of the entire attack. He was the one who decided Marcus Martin Jr. needed to be targeted. He was the one who recruited others to help carry out the plan. He was the one who chose the time and place, knowing full well that a crowded 4th of July celebration would be filled with innocent people. Every decision that led to Latasha Heyman's death can be traced back to Darnell Foster's planning and coordination. Foster was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This is one of the harshest sentences available under Texas law, reserved for the most serious offenses and offenders deemed too dangerous to ever return to society. Foster will spend the rest of his natural life behind bars. He will never again walk free. He will never again attend a community celebration. Every 4th of July for the rest of his life will be spent in a prison cell, and that seems entirely appropriate given the permanent loss he inflicted on Latasha's family and community. In the end, Latasha Heyman should be remembered not as a victim, but as a person who lived fully and loved deeply. She was 31 years old when she died, young, with so much life still ahead of her. She had built a business that brought confidence and beauty into other people's lives. She had created genuine connections with her clients and her community. She had a personality that lit up rooms and a laugh that people who knew her still remember. Fort Worth remembers Latasha through the people she touched. Her clients remember the way she made them feel special, how she listened to what they wanted and delivered beyond their expectations. Her friends remember her warmth and authenticity, the way she showed up for people when they needed her. Her family remembers a beloved daughter and relative whose absence leaves a void that can never be filled.